Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be True Friends Want the Best for You. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who has a friend that's had a crush on a girl for about 4 years, I guess. But he's a typical nice guy. Obviously, doesn't sound like he's done anything about it. And this guy actually ended up just meeting this girl in the past year, and he's been following what I teach. And so he's using the skills that he's learned from me, and this particular girl is feeling attracted to him, and now his friend is giving him a lot of shit because, I mean, it's been 4 years, the guy's never made a move, and he's pissed off at his friend because this girl has interest, but at the end of the day, it sounds like he turned her off a long time ago. And so it brings up an important point as to what a real friend is, because at the end of the day, if somebody's really your friend, and two guys like the same girl, a real friend would say, you know what, at least one of us could get her, right? So let's get into, before we get into his email, I got a quote that I'd like to share with you. And it says, "True friends build you up and support you no matter what you choose to do. People who are jealous of you, who want to be you, who envy your success, or who hate themselves are going to frequently get offended at you being you. You can't please everybody. Some people go through life looking for reasons to be offended. Instead of trying to change who you are or be something you are not in order that you don't offend people, be yourself and let the chips fall where they may. Why? Despite your best efforts to not offend or insult people, it's going to happen anyways. So instead of making yourself miserable trying to live your life according to other people's expectations, be happy and don't associate with people who always find reasons to get offended. It's their problem, not yours." And I've talked about this quite a bit lately, because over the years, as I've gone through changes, people, especially friends that I had from years ago, just because of low self-esteem issues that I had myself, I had friends that really weren't that great of friends. They were the kind of friends, as long as you fit in their little box and you behave in the way that they expect you to behave, they're cool with it. But as soon as you start stretching your boundaries, you start succeeding, maybe succeeding more than they are, they start coming up with reasons to attack you or put you down, or you find out they're talking trash about you behind your back. And that's unfortunate. Obviously, it's hurtful when you have someone who you think is your friend and they're saying all these crappy things about you or trying to make you feel guilty or ashamed or bad because you're succeeding. And at the end of the day, no one will ever do or say anything that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. And so as you start to, especially if you're applying the things that I teach, you're going to start to see yourself pulling away from your peer group and the people that you normally associate with, because you're going to start to become more and more successful. And the average person because most people tend to major in minor things, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to kind of stay stuck in the same place. I've had friends over the years that when I started making changes that I needed to make in order to become healthier because of constipation or skin problems or getting the flu, like when I made these changes and I no longer got sick or got the flu or had symptoms that they had, I wanted to share this stuff with everybody because it was magnificent. It was life-changing for me. And it was amazing the blowback that I got, because when people are stuck in their paradigm, they're stuck playing their role, they don't react too well when they see you doing things that are bettering yourself. And that's when you start to realize who your real friends are. And if you have people in your life because maybe you had a low self-esteem like I once did, you tolerate. It's like even my old business partnership that I had years ago. There were a lot of things that I put up with in that relationship. I always felt like I was walking on eggshells, and I just got to a point in my life where I just didn't give a fuck anymore. I got an email recently, which I get a couple of them a week, from people like, "Hey man, I really like your stuff, but you know what? You say fuck a lot, and it's really turning me off. I don't know this guy or this woman. I've never met them. It's like, why should I give a shit at what they get upset or offended about?" Wayne Dyer had this quote that I heard recently. It's really great, and he says, "What you think of me is none of my business." And think about that for a second, because it really isn't. Because at the end of the day, if someone, a true friend, is going to love you and accept you, they're going to encourage you and say, hey, I think it's great that you're eating healthy and you're taking better care of yourself. I think it's great that you're more successful and dating better quality women or just having more choices all around. But the people that hate on you, or like you start your business, you're like, oh, that's a stupid idea. That's never going to work. You're never going to go anywhere with that. Those kinds of people, they're not going to uplift you. They're not going to help you get to where you need to be. You want to associate with people that are positive, that are uplifting. If you want to become a better tennis player, you play with people that are better tennis players than you. If you want to become a better golfer, play with people that are better from you so you can model and learn from their success and apply it in your own life. So let's jump into this guy's email. It's a real short one. He says, hi, Coach. Me and a friend both like the same woman. He is a nice guy, and he had a crush on her for years. Me, on the other hand, I just met her this year, and because I've been applying what you teach, I can see amazing results like I have never seen before. Her eyes are craving for me, and it amazes me. Her body language is always trying to get my attention and makes my heart pull out of my mouth. So obviously she sounds like a pretty attractive girl. She comes to me, teases me, provokes me, wants me to call her, and I know I could get her anytime I want. The problem is my friend doesn't like that. In fact, he says he just likes her so much and that I was being a traitor and a motherfucker for putting myself in his way. What should I do? Putting yourself in his way, I mean, shit's been going on for years. I mean, what a selfish jerk. I mean, calling you a motherfucker, this is a friend. I've had friends that have treated me the same way. Not necessarily with an issue about a girl, but about business or succeeding. Like, especially like when I really started in earnest learning from other people that were already successful with women and started applying it in my own life, I had friends that started attacking me and saying, what are you doing reading these books? What kind of an idiot are you? Why don't you come to me for advice? It's like, well, because I didn't want to be like you, because you're not succeeding in a way that I think is something that I personally want to model. And it's like, so this tells me this guy's, he's got all kinds of problems. What's really going on is he's projecting his self-hatred and his self-loathing onto you. Obviously, he perceives you as being more successful, and so he's envious of your success. But at the end of the day, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And it's like what I was talking about earlier about becoming healthy and applying the principles of an alkaline diet. I had a lot of other people that I knew in my life that were having all kinds of symptoms, and I just wanted to share it with them. Instead of being grateful and appreciative and saying, hey man, you're a lifesaver, thanks a lot, all I did was get hated on. And it's like I took a step back and said, this kind of person, obviously, he's not a real true friend. And those are the kind of people that are just going to make you feel miserable, because no matter what you do, as long as you don't stop acting the way they expect you to, they're cool with you. They think you're awesome. But as soon as you start stepping outside your own comfort zone and growing and bettering yourself, they react really negatively. And that's when you really see who your real true friends are. And this particular friend, like I said, he's obviously jealous and envious, but at the end of the day, you've probably shared some of the stuff that you've been learning from me with him, and he probably doesn't want anything to do with it because he's too scared, he's too afraid to do the work on himself. And so my opinion of what you should do in this particular case is like, this guy, I mean, obviously she's dated other guys over the past 4 years or however long it's been going on that he's had this crush on this girl, but at the end of the day, he hasn't had a set of balls to make a move on it. And it's obvious by now, she's probably already, since she has known this guy for years, she knows that he doesn't get how attraction works. And that's why he's stuck in friend zone and has a bad case of blue balls. He probably hasn't dated anybody else because he's been obsessed on a fantasy that's all in his own mind, as opposed to putting his balls out there and going for it. At the end of the day, this girl is digging you. And so if I were you, what I would tell him is like, look, man, I know we've been friends for a lot of years, but I just met this girl, and you've had 4 years, and you haven't made a move on her yet. And she's coming after me. She wants me to go out. It's like, if you're a true friend, you'd be saying, hey, man, if she really digs you, I think that's awesome. At least one of us can hook up with her. I think that's great. You should go for it. That's what a true friend would do. These are the kinds of conversations I have with the real friends that I have in my life. It's like, you want other people to succeed. It's like, why would you put somebody down that's supposedly a friend of yours when you see him start to do well? I mean, that's just fucking nuts. All you'll end up doing is make yourself miserable by allowing people like this to be in your life. So I'd say go for it. I mean, have that conversation. I would just say, look, dude, you had your shot. She obviously doesn't dig you. It's like, wouldn't you rather see her with a guy that you know and who you like and be happy as opposed to just some stranger? Because she's going to date somebody. Why wouldn't you want that to be me other than some stranger or some other douchebag? I mean, come on. Seriously. So that's what I would do if I were you. So if you have a question or a challenge that you're having in your own life and you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.